How's it going, everybody? It's Kevin here once again, giving you another gameplay commentary. And in this video, I'm going to start a new series. What I'd like to do is just doing some review videos and talking about my thoughts about each mission in the Halo 5 campaign. I know that we've all heard a lot of people complaining about how the story in Halo 5 leaves a lot to be desired. I've made videos about it. Hundreds of other YouTube channels, probably not hundreds, but lots of other YouTube channels have definitely left their own opinions about the Halo 5 campaign. Again, this is kind of like a similar idea, say like late night gaming, sorry, where basically he was just doing like a live commentary while playing the game and then kind of critiquing and breaking it down for you. Well, in this video, I just want to kind of just, rather than just have it be like a let's play kind of thing, I wanted just to kind of just do like an overall review of each mission in Halo 5, give my thoughts and opinions of where it can be improved, because a lot of times we do say that people just say the story sucks, but like what are those exact moments when you can say this was a bad writing moment in the game, this could have done better, this could have done better, been here and there kind of stuff. Because when you're talking about a campaign like Halo, you end up having to speak in generalities. Well, I feel like with this series, I'd like to really get into the meat and bones of what really made up this story in Halo 5. And so I just kind of wanted to give you reviews on each mission and see what comes out here. So if you guys enjoy these kind of series, please make sure to tap that like button. Let me know you want to see more content like this. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about this series or what you think about the Halo 5 campaign. I'm sure we all have our own opinion. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to tap the subscribe button because I'm always uploading awesome Halo content. So let's just jump right into the video here. So let's start off with the positives here. And the first thing I really want to say is that this is definitely the best looking Halo that's ever been released for any platform in general, really. And like the 60 frames per second is very consistent. It's very well done. It's very sharp imaging there. I mean, I know they had like the dynamic resolutions in there, so then it's not a true 1080p at all times, but they try the best they can. They maintain that resolution, so I'm all for that. And also the cutscenes for this first mission are really well done, very cinematic. You really get a chance to, you really feel like you're watching like a movie too. And just like that intro action scene where you see the Spartans of Team Osiris running down the hill, just slaying all these bad guys left and right. Like, it was pretty freaking awesome. And then it just ends with this avalanche, like, oh crap, we gotta keep on running. And then you get to see him just jump off, and it's very dramatic, very, it's very well done. And I applaud them. I applaud 343. Now I know they probably didn't exactly do this, but they essentially wrote up the whole thing, right? So I applaud them for setting up such a really cool looking cinematic. I mean, the gameplay itself isn't really much to hold up, just because it's the first mission of the game. It's supposed to be the game part of the game where it kind of introduces you to like some of the new stuff that's brought into Halo. Who are the bad guys, who are the good guys, like what you can do to help your team out, things like that. Very figuring out the basics, so it's not going to be the flashiest gameplay. So what I feel like 343 tried to do with this first mission is kind of compensate with that kind of rather boring, lackluster gameplay with some really awesome cinematics, and they definitely did that for sure. So this first mission we play is called Osiris. It's essentially the introduction of Team Osiris to the Halo franchise and to the player actually playing the game here. Now, initially, I'm not a big fan of this because honestly, I did not care about Team Osiris. I don't know who Team Osiris is at all. I mean, I've started to read a little bit of the extra lore when it comes to Halo, but I've really just kind of played the campaign games themselves, which has usually been just fine when it comes to following a story when it comes to Halo, but not so much with Halo 5 here. But even just starting out the game, you're playing as Team Osiris and Spartan Locke, even though we've always played as Master Chief except for Halo 2, but you know what I mean. And everybody's like, what's going on with Master Chief? Like, we all care about him, but like we just jump into the game about these characters we don't know, don't care about, and we're just kind of like, who are these guys? Like, I don't know who they all are. Like, who is Locke? Like, how did Buck become a Spartan here? I don't know. Who's Vale? Who's Tanaka? Like, who are these people, you know? So initially, just right off the bat, the player is just thrown for a loop of going like, oh, okay, well, this is not exactly what I was expecting out of a Halo game. I was expecting to play, you know, Master Chief, because he's basically he is the face of Halo and basically the face of Microsoft gaming just in general. But, you know, I'm like, okay, hey, you know, I'm cool with this. I'm open to, you know, artists, you know, expressing themselves through different kind of media. And so, you know, this is what, you know, 343 wants to do. I'll let them do it and see how it turns out. But, you know, this is where you get your very first impressions of the characters here. Because, you know, as we all know, just from human interaction in general, first impressions are everything. So that's what this mission in general is trying to do here. And that's what this initial reaction of these characters you're hearing talk in this little cutscene here. That, you know, you basically kind of find out that, like, you know, Vale and Tanaka are just kind of very serious business, like, straight to the point kind of people. Buck's kind of like, you know, a guy with actually some personality and a little charisma and has something to say kind of stuff. And then you kind of hear that Locke is kind of an asshole.
You ask, you buy.
What a dick. And you initially, just right out the bat, you're gonna get thrown off for a loop, going like, yeah, I don't like this Locke dude, because we know Buck. You know, Buck's a good guy. We've played we played as him in ODST, and we kind of really like that character. But then, when we see a character like Locke, who's the leader apparently, and treats a character that we like an asshole, well, we don't like that kind of character. That kind of pisses off the audience right there. So initially, our first impression, we really don't like Locke in the first place. Though what this cutscene really does fail to do is give true context to the entire situation. Just because you just get the very bare bones of like, hey, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's bad stuff going on apparently. Catherine Halsey here knows what the heck the stuff is going on, and she's over here, so go get her. And then Osiris is like, yeah, let's go do it, bros. But then I'm thinking about this, like, if you only played Halo 4, I mean, Halo 4 did have Spartan Ops with it, which was kind of more like an optional story thing that they added to the game, which I thought was which was a great idea in my opinion. I really would like to see that for Halo 5, but obviously they didn't do it for some reason. But you would not understand like who Jewel Adama is. You wouldn't understand why Catherine Halsey is in Jewel Adama's custody and things like that. You just go, okay, well, last time from playing Halo 4, I don't really remember hearing anything about Jewel Adama and why she's in this situation. But I mean, she's Dr. Halsey, and she'll get into weird stuff like this all the time, right? So yeah, let's go along with it, kind of stuff. And so I just feel like they could have done a little bit better job of setting the whole thing up, right? And being like, there's this person here, go save her so we can do better things to help out this human race or whatever. And also even going into the cutscene, before that cutscene as well, you just see Halsey walking into what looks like probably her office or something like that, and then puts like a personal file of what, you know, Cortana is, and you hear her having a dialogue saying that like after everything is said and done, that Spartan Locke is going to have to kill, you know, Cortana and Halsey. And so you go like, oh snap, like that totally sets up the entire game right there, going like, wow, Locke here is gonna have to make a serious decision about killing a main character of Halo, you know, the creator of freaking Cortana. You know, Dr. Halsey is one of the highest up people in the Halo franchise. To have a new character like him be given the decision of having to kill her, yeah, that's a pretty serious idea. But the thing is, though, I really don't feel like this set up for that kind of situation wasn't touched on at all. Like, it built you up going like, oh my god, like this is actually going to happen in this game. I mean, that's kind of like the hook, really, of the entire game. But then it never gets touched on really afterwards. Like, yeah, Catherine Halsey is in some shit because, you know, she was under investigation for, you know, stealing children and putting them in the Spartan programs. But they kind of went like, yeah, let's look off to the side about that one just because it's, you know, what, it helps save the world, you know, kind of thing. But, you know, why is Catherine Halsey going to be in such deep crap that, you know, like they're going to have to kill her? Like, I don't understand. And this is all just prologue to the game, so you think, like I said, that dialogue makes you feel like they're going to set up this situation. I mean, that's what you do in the initial part of any kind of entertainment. The first 15 minutes of every movie is the hook, which is supposed to set up the good guy, supposed to set up the bad guy, and the overall reason why you're watching this movie. And that didn't really get touched on at all in this game, was what I'm trying to say here. And also, this could just be a personal preference of mine, but the entire cutscene where you see, Team Osiris being complete badasses going down the hill, well, I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather actually play out those situations rather than just watch them happen. I mean, I know that sometimes with like the format of the game and the limitations of the hardware that maybe you won't be able to pull off something like that with the gameplay. But I would find it to be a little bit more. I just like to be at least have it be like an interactive cutscene, like a lot, like you would see like in Call of Duty or something like that, where like you feel like you kind of like played through the game, and really all you did was like press X to continue on the cutscene. But like just have it be a little more interactive, so then you're not just sitting there with the controller in your app going like, can't wait to play this game. Let's see what's the next cutscene after this cutscene is. You know what I mean? But so. I mean, like I would say, like I mentioned this before in a previous video about like saying when they're, you see Team Osiris jump off, well, like have that at that point after that be part of the gameplay. Have you, the player, navigate through the ships, through flying bodies, explosions, missiles, and everything else in between, flying through caves. Like that'd be way more fun in my opinion, and way more memorable, at least to me. Going like, wow, I've never actually jumped, free fall out of a pelican on my own, like in Halo. I've always seen it in the cutscenes or something like that. Like that would be something unique and interesting that I feel like it'd be great to bring to the Halo gameplay, but instead it was all in a cutscene. And again, like I said, could have been limitations of just the structure of the game where you can't really pull that kind of stuff off, or maybe just ran out of time, or they just feel like, hey, the cutscene's the best way to show that kind of stuff off. And also in this first mission, you get introduced to the Artemis tracking system, which is essentially the, hey, I'm lost button, where do I go kind of thing, because that's really all it's ever really used for. I've heard about other things, but initially what it was, the Artemis system was intentionally supposed to be made for. But essentially it's the, hey, go here if you're lost kind of button, which is always a nice thing to have, especially back in like Halo 1 or even like 2 or even 3. Like, yeah, that actually would have been a really nice feature to have, because there is a lot of backtracking you do and a lot of like open world kind of playing to where like you don't really get guided through a map like you do in these Halo 5 levels, that kind of like you just keep them moving forward and you'll progress through the game, where like the previous Halos were, especially in 1, where it was much more open world and you just kind of go around experiencing the game however you want, which could lead to a little more distraction and being lost in the game, trying to figure out where the hell you need to go if you're not truly paying attention to what's being said, which I could totally see that. But I would like to see a little more would have liked to see a little bit more creativity with the Artemis tracking system. It just felt so basic, and like seriously, it was like a help button built into the game, and I would really like to see it have a bit more functionality. I mean, I feel like there's something you could do with that. Recently I've been playing a lot of Destiny, like you guys may have known, and one thing you can do with the shell on some of these missions on the Dreadnought, that there were like these invisible platforms that you're like, well, how the hell are we supposed to see that? Like, well, actually, if you bring up your shell, you can see these invisible platforms that you can temporarily see for a little bit, and you gotta jump to them, and so then you look like you're standing in midair, but really you're standing on a platform. So I know it's a very basic idea, but it's just something to make it a little more gameplay interactive rather than just being like a lazy help button, essentially. Also on this level, we are introduced to the Kraken, which is just a gigantic Covenant ship walker scarab-like thing. Basically, it just kind of came off to me as it's like, is another scarab but bigger, kind of like Star Killer Planet, right? Like in the new Star Wars movie, where it's like the Death Star, but it's bigger, right? So, but like, it really kind of felt like it was the exact same kind of thing, but just bigger. So, whatever, really. But we do come across it later on in the game. Spoilers, I know, but hey. Actually, cool little fact too on that part of the game where you do see the Kraken for the first time. There is a rec weapon you can go buy and pick up as well, which is just kind of cool. I think it's just like an extended mag scatter shot, but hey, it sounds pretty cool and it's fun to use rec weapons that you wouldn't expect to have a chance to use in the game. And so this also leads to like the big kind of finale part of this single mission here, of like the big open field with the Kraken in the background, lasers and explosions going off everywhere. But this is where you really see Halo 5 really struggling to maintain the 60 frames per second. You see on the light rifle here that like the lighting goes in and out. Like when I first played the game, I'm like, oh, this must be some weird glitch that's happening with my game. So, whatever. I think I even restarted my game so then like, because I thought it was on my end, but really that's actually designed in the game to have this kind of stuff happen where like, yeah, it loses a lot of lighting effects and some you can see at far distances. Well, probably not in the video because I rendered this in 30 FPS, but like a lot of, you know, characters beyond like 10, 15, 20 feet or something like that, then they, you know, go from 60 frames per second animations to 30, and it's really jarring to see that. The only time I ever really experienced that was when I was playing Halo 1 on PC, when I was running at like 140 some odd frames, but then all the animations were done in 30, so it's really kind of like, it messes with my eyes and it makes me feel kind of slightly nauseous almost even. But yeah, like don't get me wrong though, I mean the gameplay in this part is actually the fun part, and there's some extra little pathing areas you can go around, and just like you can finally get like a sense of scale of like, wow, this is gonna be pretty awesome, and it's gonna be, you know, a lot of explosions, a lot of bad guys, and it's gonna be a lot of fun to kill all stuff basically. So good going on the gameplay, then plus the level just looks freaking beautiful too. So 343, like I said, the visuals in this game were really well done for being on a console. And then after killing all the things and blowing up all the stuff, you finally get to the final cutscene of the mission, which a lot of people did not like how it turned out because it's essentially the death of Jewel Adama. And you know, a lot of people, you know, who read a lot of the external content for Halo really know what this character means to the Halo franchise. Like, he's a serious player. Like, he's like, you know, like you have the Arbiter as like, you know, one of the major elites in Halo. Well, Jewel Adama was like right up there really in importance to the Halo story. And to have him just be killed off so quickly and easily that a lot of people felt that his death was very, you know, lackluster. But this is something that I've heard from, especially when I think it was Robert Kirkman, you know, the writer of The Walking Dead. He mentioned the idea of how, you know, a character's death should be, is that depending on how important the character has been to the story, that's how, you know, significant their death needs to be. There needs to be an equal or even greater death for their importance to the story. Think, I'm gonna Walking Dead, spoiler here, so watch out. I'm gonna spoil it here, but in the third season, you know, Herschel dies, but everybody remembers that death if you're a fan of that show because it was such a significant death. And he was such a significant character that, you know, he can't just be, you know, gunshot to the head from some random bullet. You're like, well, that's such a cheap way to die. Like, you know, he needs like a significant like screen time for this kind of moment because it's a really important part of what makes Halo Halo. And so to have a character like Jewel Adama just killed off so easily is something that, you know, a lot of people felt was gypped. I mean, me personally, I didn't get too much into like Spartan Ops where like you finally got some game time, you know, call it screen time, but screen time in the game. But you know, he was also a big part of like the Halo escalation, I believe, and you know, a lot of stuff outside of the games, but not so much inside. So when you see Jewel Adama get killed and you've only played the Halo campaigns, you're like, okay, they killed this elite dude who's apparently the boss of other elites and Covenant dudes and things. Sure, whatever, I don't care. So that's a big part of why a lot of people have had issues with Halo 5 story, that the death of Jewel Adama was very insignificant to such a significant character. And we finish off the mission with Locke being an asshole again and not responding or even acknowledging what Buck asked, which was a legitimate question because we, the player, don't know really what the heck is going on either.
What do you think that's about?
Just look at Buck. He's looking at him like, dude, I asked you a question. You're not gonna answer it? You're just gonna ignore me. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna look away now. Locke's like, I got too many things going on in my head that I can't respond and pay respects to honorable characters in this franchise, because I'm an asshole. So anyways, guys, that's the end of this first episode of the Halo 5 mission reviews here. So this was mission 1, Team Osiris. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about this first mission in Halo 5. Did you enjoy it? Did you like all the cutscenes? Do you think that the gameplay was pretty good? Let me know. I read all the comments and try to reply to most of them as well. If you enjoyed this analysis video, please make sure to tap that like button. Let me know you want to see more content like this. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe as well, because I'm always going to be uploading awesome Halo content. But anyways, guys, catch you all in the next video. Peace out.